Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 6 to 10 of chapter 3. Karmendriyani sanyamya,
कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य
ya aste manasa smaran,
य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन्
indriyartan vimudhatma,
इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा
mithyachara sa uchyate.
मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते
Yastvindriyani manasa,
यस्त्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा
niyamyarabhaterjuna,
नियम्यारभतेऽर्जुन
कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगम्,
कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगम्
असक्तः स विशिष्यते.
असक्तः स विशिष्यते
नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वम्,
नियतं कुरु कर्म त्वम्
कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः,
कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः
शरीरयात्रापि च ते,
शरीरयात्रापि च ते
न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः,
न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र,
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र
लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः,
लोकोऽयं कर्मबन्धनः
तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय,
तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय
मुक्त Sangha samachara.
Muktasangah samachara.
Sahayajna praja srishtva.
Sahayajna praja srishtva.
Purovacha prajapatihi.
Purovacha prajapatihi.
Anena prasavishyadvam.
Anena prasavishyadvam.
Yeshavostvishta kamadhuk.
Yeshavostvishta kamadhuk.
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So we are seeing this sacred principle of yajna and its practical application in our lives. So one of the key factors which he is asking you to drop is attachment. He uses the phrase Mukta Sangaha. Mukta Sangaha means giving up attachment, becoming free of attachment. Again, there is a deeper meaning there. Even though we have translated it as giving up attachment, if you go a little more deeper into that phrase Mukta Sangaha, Muktihi means becoming free, and Sangaha means, as we saw, attachment in this context. So when you're attached to something, you become bound. So that's why he is deliberately using the word mukta. Means you have to become free. Your mind has to be available to you for you to direct it towards the higher. So when he says mukta sangaha, it cannot be done by force, by using force. See, for example, if you take a small child, now a child will be attached to its toys. If you keep telling the child, give up the attachment to the toys, now the child will get very disturbed. Because the mind needs to be pegged on something. So that's why he is carefully using the word muktaha. Mukta sangaha, what does that indicate? So there are two ways of giving up something. One is forcefully giving up something, which usually does not work in the long run. Actually, the craving of the mind will start increasing when you try to force it. See, supposing, let's say, you're thinking about something and I tell you, don't think about it, don't think about it. Now, the more you start telling yourself, I should not think about that object, I should not think about that object. Now, the mind will start running towards that object more. So, the more we try to force the mind, it will not work. So, there is another way of giving up anything, whether it is negative things like addictions to alcohol and smoking, or whether it is other forms of attachment. Lesser degree compared to alcohol and smoking and drugs and all that, which are addictive substances, but still the attachment can be strong. Like you may be attached to food, You may be attached to some person. You may be attached to wealth. Attachment can be to anything. So, the first way which most people try is forcefully giving up, but that will not work. The mind will run more only. See, it's a very tricky thing. If you forcefully say no, then also the mind will run. Okay, if you say yes and allow the mind to indulge, then also the mind will further get attached. So what do? That is where this word muktaha helps you so much. It is not forcefully giving up or going all out and indulging, but it is about slowly freeing the mind. It is about freeing the mind from its preoccupations. That comes through sadhana, and with respect to any particular attachment, it comes through an understanding. When you understand that attachment actually is very harmful to you, whatever you are attached to can create a lot of sorrow. When you begin to understand this process, then a parallel desire, an ichcha, a parallel desire will start forming within you. That is, you will want to be free. So instead of saying, I want to stop thinking about this, if you say, I want to become free, now the energies get directed towards something higher, because freedom is a part of self-development. We saw that, no? The three self-purification, self-development and self-learning, self-enlightenment. So being free is a part of self-development. Whenever you're bound, now you're actually devolving. So when you tell the mind, how do you communicate to the mind? Not by sitting and lecturing, it's not that way. See, mind means is nothing but desires and emotions. So if you have, let's say the mind has an intense desire for something and it's so attached and you feel that is negative. Not a question of what you feel, just common sense will tell you whether that's good for you or not. Now, if you want to communicate to the mind not to run, if you tell it directly, give it up, it will run more. If you indulge also, it will run more. So the best way is you will have to create a parallel opposite force, another ichcha, another desire. And that desire should not be in the negative sense, like I want to give up addictions or I want to give up this habit. It shouldn't be like that. Instead, it should be a positive desire. It should be constructed in a positive way. And what is a positive way? He says muktaha. I want to be free. So the word muktaha will mean something to you only if you understand that sangha, that is attachment, causes bondage. Supposing you're completely addicted to alcohol, then think about it. How much I am addicted to it? How much my whole life has become like a slavish life. If you are addicted to some other habit, it could be anything. You may be addicted to a person also, addicted in the sense attached. Then the moment you are attached to someone else, what happens is your expectations will become too much. It can, many quarrels in a marriage happens because of this attachment only. There is something called reasonable expectations. But if you're too attached and automatically your expectations keep on growing, then there will be a big gap between what you're expecting and what the reality is. That person will be something, but you will have some other expectation. Then that will cause a clash. And these expectations, the unfulfilled expectations, will cause tremendous stress within you. So there it is, you become bound. See, your happiness, bondage means your happiness is dependent on some object or person outside. It could be either an object or a person, it could be anything. That state is called bondage. So the moment you bring another desire, which is, I want to be free, that is exactly the opposite of bondage. So if you want to be free, then you will have to become self-sufficient. See, whenever you are attached to something or someone for your happiness, then you are not having that self-sufficiency to that extent. To the extent you are attached, to that extent the self-sufficiency is missing. So the moment you bring that ichcha, that desire for freedom, I want to be free. Now, free doesn't mean free of responsibilities, please understand. Free of bondages, free of sorrow, free of stress. Then that will build a parallel desire, a parallel opposite force. And that opposite force, that ichcha, will be the communication to your mind. See, whenever you want to communicate something to someone, you will have to talk according to the other person's understanding. Supposing a person is very emotional, you will have to talk the language of emotions. If a person is highly intellectual, you may have to talk the language of the intellect. Only then whatever you want to communicate will go across. The same thing with your mind also. Fundamentally, the mind is nothing but desires and emotions. So whatever opposite desire and opposite emotion you create, now whether you put for any further effort or not, it does not matter. It will automatically communicate to the mind that this is what I want. Then with this wisdom, with the higher wisdom, since you're gaining the clarity, the mind will refer to that and begin to understand, if I want to become free, now this is not good for me. And it will automatically start, it will automatically stop running towards that object, whatever it is that you want to you want to stop. That is the flow of thoughts which you want to stop. It will slowly start reducing. This is the second way of giving up. This is the spiritual way. This becomes sadhana. So people only know two things. Either they go all out and indulge. That also increases the bondage. Or they just simply try to use force. Now that will cause a lot of frustration and it will increase the addictions or attachment in the long run. So both these extremes really will not help you. So what is sadhana? Sadhana is being in the middle, neither indulging nor completely suppressing, nor using force. But with an understanding, you create an opposite energy, an opposite desire in your mind, and that desire should be in positive terms, freedom. It shouldn't be in negative terms of I want to give up this, I want to give up that. If you keep it that way, the mind will try to rebel. So that's why he is carefully using the word mukta sangaha. So even though the translation is being made as give up attachment, now the deeper meaning is this only. When we use the yogic approach, we are able to unravel the deeper secrets which are embedded in these principles. So this is the fundamental way to do sadhana, to slowly master your mind. Instead of taking a direct approach, he is asking you to take an indirect approach. The mind in you is like a small child. Now you see, a child, how does a child learn? In psychology, it has been proved that 99% a child's learning is incidental. Means, like supposing you're talking to someone about something. Now the child happens to be playing there. Now, one part of the child's mind will be absorbing whatever you're saying. Even though it may look as if the child is playing, incidentally it will learn many things of whatever you're telling someone else. In psychology, they say that 99% a child learns incidentally only. 1% is only direct learning. So if you tell the child, do this, do that, now the child will have a resistance. But when you create a conducive atmosphere for the child to pick up the right things in life, it will automatically learn and pick up. See, unfortunately today, parents don't have that time, or they don't even know. Today what is happening? You're just exposing the kids to all the gadgets. Every child is just simply watching anything from the OTT platform. Most parents are not even aware of what is happening. And the parents are only interested in that immediate gain. The child cries and throws tantrums. Immediately you just give it a cell phone, and at that moment it becomes okay. Then the parent is fine with that. But see, if you really want to guide your child in a detached way, you should observe what the child's psychology is and provide the child a very conducive atmosphere. Without forcing anything on the child, you should make it as conducive as possible for the child to choose the best, choose the higher things. So your mind is also like a child. If you tell it directly, it will not listen. So that's why the great masters, the great yogis, they always said, don't use force on the mind. The more you say, don't think about something, don't think about this, don't think about, mind will keep on going. If you are very much attached in the name of love to someone, you will constantly keep thinking about that person. If you hate a person a lot, that is also a form of attachment only. Then again you will constantly be thinking about that person only. And if you say, don't think about it, don't, the more you say don't, the mind will run more. So same thing with children also. The name of disciplining the child, many parents make this mistake of putting too many rules. Don't do this, don't do this, do this. The child will rebel after a while. In a friendly atmosphere, without without the child knowing it, if you create a beautiful atmosphere, then the child will pick up everything wonderfully in an incidental way. So the mind also functions in the same way. So what are we doing every Sunday, for example? Why am I saying watch these sessions every Sunday without fail? Because a very conducive environment is being provided to your mind. The moment we sit and the chanting of Om is done, now you become totally tuned in. Even before the chanting of Om itself, when I say close your eyes, now that process starts. Thereafter, when this entire wisdom is being presented, now the mind is exposed to it. It is a very conducive atmosphere which we are creating. In a relaxed way, when you expose the mind to these truths, incidentally it will pick up, it will learn so much. So the same yogic principle of incidental learning should be used to overcome attachments. That is what is meant by mukta sangaha. Freeing the mind of attachment, not pulling the mind away from attachment. Pulling means force, using your power. It is freeing the mind, then the mind will start leaving it on its own. See, only when the mind starts leaving it on its own, that is when you can be assured, I have overcome this weakness. So it's a beautiful principle which he is giving, mukta sangaha. With respect to the attachment, see, when we talk of a principle like attachment, it is a very deep principle. There are so many facets, so many dimensions. Now, as and when the context comes, different dimensions will be revealed to you. When earlier a few aspects were revealed right from the second chapter, even in the first chapter, because Arjuna was so attached. So whenever the context comes, a few things will be revealed. So in this particular context, three facets of attachment were revealed to you. The arambhatha bhavaha, kartritva bhavaha and bhoktritva bhavaha. Three types of attitudes. Bhavaha means attitude or intention, feeling, all these things put together. So that is the sangaha aspect. Muktaha means freeing the mind from all this. Incidental learning. You create an opposite energy and make the negative flow of mind wither away on its own. So that is called satsang. See, very interesting. The word sangaha is actually a neutral word. It means company, union. Depending upon the context, it can be either used in a negative sense, or it can be used in a positive sense, or in a neutral sense also. So when we talk of mukta sangaha, here it is being used in a negative sense. But our yogis also use the word satsang. Sat means truth. It refers to the truth. Now, truth means the higher. Sang again means company. So satsangaha means company of the truth, company of the higher. So whenever you engage your mind with higher things, it is called satsang. For example, you are watching this session, this discourse right now. You are putting in an effort to engage your mind in the higher values of life, the higher wisdom. This is satsang. When you go to a master, it automatically becomes satsang, because a true master is always attuned to the truth, to the infinite. So just being with the master itself was called satsang by these great yogis. So there it is, sangaha, which is a neutral word, is used in a positive sense. The moment we say satsang, it becomes positive. So mukta sangaha is possible. That is, here negative usage. Wherever the mind is attached in a negative way, how do you free the mind? It is only by satsang. So if you create an opposite higher energy of freedom, then automatically the mind will start flowing in that direction. So if the water is flowing in a particular direction, there are some grooves, let us say, and the water is with full force going in that direction. And if you just try to stop it, now the water will break the walls and it will run. So instead, you divert the water slowly, you form a tunnel, it not at right angles, but as a curve, gradually. So then the water will start flowing through that tunnel. As the water starts flowing through the tunnel, when a big volume of water, large volume of water starts flowing there, then you can always close off the original one. It will not cause any issue. Similarly, once your mind starts changing and starts moving towards higher, then even if you manually, that is a little bit of force if you apply and close the previous channels where the mind was running, it will not cause any bit of frustration for you. So that is why even in the Bhajagovindam, Adi Shankaracharya, he says, Satsangatve Nissangatvam. Through satsang, that is positive company, you get out of attachments, nissangatvam, which is what he is saying, mukta sangaha. All the yogis have used this method alone to get out of all their attachments, and then the mind comes under their control completely. Today, the mind is not available to you for the higher purposes. It is so preoccupied with so many things. So we are aiming at a gradual transformation of a personality. There is a big difference between self-transformation and changing something, trying to change something forcefully. Transformation means like how a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. A caterpillar is in the cocoon. It's a life of bondage. A butterfly has wings. It is a life of freedom. Now the same caterpillar gets transformed into a butterfly one day, and then it starts flying. It's not done by force. Similarly, as a sadhak, if you keep on gaining this higher wisdom, and when you keep doing your sadhana diligently, when you surrender to the higher Shakti, when you surrender to the Guru Shakti, and when you consistently keep doing your sadhana, one day your life of bondage, the caterpillar-like life, will get transformed into a life of freedom like the butterflies. And when that transformation happens naturally because of your long-standing sangaha, association with Sat, with the higher, that's called satsang, through sadhana, under the guidance of a master, then that will not be frustrating at all because it's a transformation. But when the caterpillar is not yet ready, if you try to forcefully remove it from the cocoon and try to make it fly, it can actually cause a lot of damage. It will not work that way. So he says, Mukta Sangaha, give up attachment, become free of attachment, obtain freedom. That is the hidden meaning there. So when I was talking to you about the three bhavas which you need to become free of, the arambatva bhava, that is the feeling that I have only started everything, then kartrutva bhava, I am only doing everything, then bhoktrutva bhava, I am only enjoying. Now you may wonder how to practically do it. See, it comes through an understanding. I'll just give you a few tips there and then we'll continue further. See, even for your existence, your very existence is dependent on so many people and so many factors outside. If your father and mother hadn't gotten together, you wouldn't have been born. So your very existence is dependent on their desires, their union. And then even there, what are the chances of conception? They say out of thousands and thousands or lakhs of sperms, one sperm only fuses with that egg. If another sperm had fused, then you wouldn't have been born. If you think about it. So our very existence itself is dependent on so many factors. Then your breathing, the air goes into your lungs. Your lungs does the filtering. It takes the oxygen and throws out the carbon dioxide. Now, who has designed that system? You have not designed it. You are not consciously doing it. Are you having a meter or something to constantly see, acha, now am I taking an oxygen, how to take an oxygen, filtering? If that process was given to you, it would have become a very stressful life thereafter. So our very breathing is dependent on so many factors which we have not designed. If you keep analyzing thus, you will find that our very existence is possible only if all these factors go right. Even if one factor had gone wrong, we will not be here at this moment. So, to feel that I am important, see the base behind these three types of bhavana, that is, I am the starter, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, is nothing but ego, that extra emphasis on that I. So that extra emphasis on yourself will go away when you realize that you are a part of this totality. You are a part of the total scheme of things. Everything in life, everyone in life has a place. Nobody is extra important. Nobody is more important. Nobody is less important also. It's an equal place, equal space. And our very existence depends on so many factors which are not under our control at all. When you eat food, supposing let's say the stomach does not produce acid, then we'll be in trouble. Our existence will be in trouble. So who has designed that beautiful system? Not you, not me. That's some higher power. We can call it nature, you can call it anything you want. So like this, if you go into all the detail, you will find that your very existence, your very life is dependent on thousands and thousands of factors. And even if one factor goes wrong, it will become a threat to our life, threat to our existence. Then how can we put that extra emphasis on I and say, I am so important? Because it all starts from that self-importance. See, ego is there. Ego produces self-importance. And then that self-importance branches out into these three bhavas. I am the starter, I am the doer, and I am the enjoyer. So we have to go to the root and attack that. So number one is our existence, life. Number two, if you take any action. Now let's say this action of speaking. I told you there is a difference between factually saying I am speaking and putting a lot of emphasis on that I and saying I am speaking. That is what causes attachment. So, if you take this act of speaking, now somebody discovered the English language. The whole thing is happening in English language. We are studying the Sanskritam slokas of Bhagavad Gita. Somebody discovered that language, Sanskritam. Bhagavad Gita was given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Somebody recorded it. Vedavyasa wrote it. If you were to go into all these details, you will find that so many people have contributed. Without their contributions, we will not be having this communication of wisdom here. Supposing somebody hadn't discovered the language, then how would this happen? Not only that, we'll take the technology. You're sitting somewhere and watching this. So many scientists have contributed for this to happen. Whether you're watching it through the cell phone or it's in a laptop or PC, whatever it is. How much of contribution is there? Like this, if you go into the details of who all have contributed towards this one action which you are performing, which you are doing at this moment, it will be mind-boggling, because millions and millions of people, millions and millions of things are happening for you to just do the simple action which you're doing in the present. Then how can you take the full credit and say, I am only starting, I am doing, I am enjoying? That emphasis on that I will start going away when you think on these lines. This is what I was telling you, how to free the mind. If you say give up, the mind will not give up, it will want to go. Instead, you expand the mind and start getting the totality vision. As your mind expands, as you begin to realize that you are a part of this total existence, you're a part of totality, you're a spark of that infinite fire. When you start realizing that, then the self-importance will go away. Once the self-importance and self-centeredness goes away, it's a beautiful yogic life. That's how a yogi lives his or her life. Whenever a yogi starts something, he does it to the best of his ability. He prepares well and starts, but without that emphasis, I am starting it. He does it with a lot of gratitude to the entire totality, because he knows that all alone by himself, he will not be able to start anything. Similarly, when a yogi performs any action, there will be no kartritva bhavana, I am the doer, because he knows that this action is possible because so many people have contributed, so many forces in nature are all functioning so beautifully, so meticulously, without which this action is not possible. So with utter humility, he will perform that action, every action. Similarly, bhoktritva bhavana, that can be conquered with the same understanding. Whenever you get so many things in life, wonderful experiences, and you're experiencing them, you're enjoying them, now a yogi does it with utter humility, because that experience is not possible without the total contribution. I am only a part of totality. I don't exist by myself. This is the deep, deep wisdom which a yogi has. So if you want to become a yogi, now no need to change any action outside. Perform all your activities in the same way. There is going to be no change externally, but your internal attitude now will start changing. Instead of doing things with a lot of emphasis on yourself, in a humble way, a natural humility which arises when you recognize your existence as a part of totality, that will come. That is the antidote to these three bhavas which arise from self-importance. So when you practice this, you will start becoming free. Mukta sangaha will start happening to you. Now, as your mind gets freed from the various preoccupations, from the various attachments, and you become so free, it gives you so much of happiness. You become so self-sufficient. You are no longer dependent on anything or anyone for your happiness. Happiness is something which comes from within. And if you are not internally happy, you may have everything in your life, but still you will be miserable. Mukta sangaha, when practiced properly, will get you into a very, very happy state. It will make you so powerful, because a person who has freedom is powerful. A person who is bound is a slave, has lost all his power. I mentioned this tip regarding the three bhavas because I had received a question. A sadhak had asked, how do we really come out of this? He had asked regarding kartritva bhavana, that is the I am the doer attitude, but the same principle is applicable with respect to the other two also, arambatva bhava and bhoktritva bhava. I am a spoke in this wheel of totality. I don't have a separate existence. I can exist only with the support of this totality. This is the deeper wisdom which a yogi has. A yogi understands life in a very, very deep way. When your understanding of life is very shallow, then you give yourself overimportance. You become self-centered. And self-centeredness gives rise to attachment, various attachments. And any form of attachment destroys your peace of mind. You become highly stressed. So here we have to reverse that process. So mukta sangaha, what an amazing principle that is. That is, two principles are connected together there. So in the last few sessions I had mentioned to you about the sangaha, attachment. I had stressed on certain dimensions of attachment by giving the three bhavas. Later on, again, the same principle of attachment will be coming in this chapter also. So whenever it comes, we will see more dimensions. But as of now, you can focus on that. With respect to yajna, we are building a connection. We are seeing the flow of thought. And then when you add the word muktaha to that, it becomes a powerful sadhana. So when it is translated as give up attachment, as a sadhak you should understand. Giving up, making the mind give up the attachment on its own. Freeing yourself of attachment. Mukta sangaha. When you repeat this phrase to yourself after gaining this wisdom, it will start inspiring you. Whenever you're stressed, whenever you're not happy or agitated and all that, if you can just pause for a few seconds and just remember this, mukta sangaha. You'll become very much aware of the bondage. The mind is running. It's so agitated. Mukta sangaha. Immediately, just that word mukta, that freedom, it has so much of energy, provided you do it in a yogic way. That is why, watching these sessions on a daily basis, apart from Sunday, every day you can watch at least 5 or 10 minutes. If you want to watch a little more, that's up to you. But minimum of 5 or 10 minutes of any of these sessions, so that your mind keeps on getting exposed to this on a daily basis. That itself is a very good satsang. You will remain connected. And that is what will help you when you are facing a crisis situation. When a challenge comes in front of you, the mind forgets all the higher wisdom. But for a sadhak, it is at that time only the wisdom will come and help. The Guru Shakti will flow and help, provided that sadhak remains connected. So, mukta sangaha, give up attachment. See, now it makes so much of sense, isn't it? So, give up attachment and perform action for the sake of that. O Kaunteya, O Kunti Putra, the son of Kunti, O Arjuna. So, as I was telling you, the word used is samachara. In the previous verse, he said niyatam kuru karmatvam, do action. Now, he is using the word samachara. So, I had given you a couple of dimensions of samachara. One dimension is perform. You perform whatever duties you have to perform, all your actions. The other dimension of samachara which we saw was proper conduct. Anything which you do, do it properly. Give it your best shot. That is a yogic quality. You are judged by how you conduct yourself when you are all alone, not by how you are conducting yourself in public. I am talking of in spirituality. That is why he is using the word samachara, which is conduct. Conduct means, see, there are two things. One is how you conduct yourself when you are in public. That is when you are with people and all that. The other is how do you conduct yourself when you are all alone. Samachara means how do you conduct yourself when you are all alone. Means what are you essentially. That should be proper, he says. Proper means your thoughts should be pure, your emotions should be pure, your thoughts, emotions, actions, speech, everything. And when we say should be pure, doesn't mean now from next second it has to be pure. It's not that. That is the goal which you should conceive in your mind and keep. That will keep inspiring you to perfect yourself. It doesn't happen overnight. But that is what you should keep on striving for. Samachara. So generally you are one person outside and another person inside. Everyone wears a mask, different masks. The moment you start interacting with the world, you wear the mask, then only you interact. You are not yourself. And the other person is also wearing his or her mask. When you go to a master, he doesn't see your mask. He doesn't see what you're portraying to him. He only sees what is behind the mask. What is your true face? Purification of yourself internally, internal conduct, that is called samacharana. So it's a very powerful word he is used here, samachara. From kuru, there is niyatam kuru karmatvam. We saw that in the previous verse. Now he is further developing on that and giving another facet by using the word samachara. So you can fool anyone in the world, but you can't fool your own conscience. You can't, of course, fool your guru also, because your guru is a direct reflection of your conscience only. We can say the internal guru is your conscience, external guru is the master. Both are same only. So if you want to become a yogi as a sadhak, what should you do? Practice samacharana. Proper conduct. Proper conduct means intellectual conduct, thought level, emotional conduct, emotion level. Then the verbal conduct, that is speech level. Action level also. At all 4 levels, try to keep on purifying yourself. That is samachara. So, samachara means karma samachara. Tadartam karma samachara. You act for the sake of yajna in a proper way. Give your best in everything which you do. This was the second dimension. Even though I am explaining whatever I had given last week, if you have noticed, every time a few more subtler tips will always be given, subtler angles will be given. It will make your understanding more deep. And then I'll give you one more dimension of samacharanam. Samacharanam means practice, abhyasa. In Sanskritam word there's a beautiful word called abhyasa. Abhyasa means practice. That is not just practicing for one day. Abhyasa means you go on practicing till you perfect it, till you master it. That is the meaning of samacharanam. So you just try it once. Oh, I tried, sir, it is not working. Or it's very difficult, sir. There is no meaning in saying something is difficult. See, it is only when a person puts in consistent efforts in one direction, that person is in a position to say whether that practice or whatever it is that he or she is following is difficult or easy. If you just try something once or just a few times, and if you say it is difficult, then there is no meaning in that. You see, you take any artist. Let's take an instrumentalist, one who can play the flute, or one who can play the violin, or any other instrument. Now they put in hours of practice every day for many years. Only then they gain a basic mastery over that instrument. That too, a basic mastery. Even singing also, vocal training. How many hours of practice is required for voice training, to master the swaras? I'm talking of Indian classical music. But whether it's Indian classical or Western classical, everything is music only. But it requires so much of effort. Consistent efforts, hard work is what they would have put in. So when you see a person singing effortlessly or playing an instrument effortlessly, they'll make it look very easy. See, whenever a person makes an art or a particular action look very easy, it means that person has put in a lot of effort in that direction. Like even in sports, some of the top batsmen, now when they bat, the experts say, oh, he makes batting look so easy, they say. The bowler comes and bowls a deadly delivery, but top class batsman, he just very sweetly times it in the gap so beautifully to the boundary. And the experts say, oh, he makes it look so easy. It looks so effortless. So whenever someone makes an action very easy, that is, makes it look easy and effortless, it means a lot of effort has gone behind it. Hours and hours of training, practice has gone behind it. Whether it is singing or cooking or carpentry or drawing, sculpting, doing business, it can be anything, sports. The same thing in spirituality also. a yogi very effortlessly goes into meditation. How? Hours and hours. See, if a worldly art requires so much of practice, imagine the art of taming the mind, the art of gaining mastery over the mind is not a joke. Many unsuccessful attempts are usually made before the success comes. So a yogi makes it look so easy. He just is able to go off into meditation, and when you're in the presence of the master, your mind also immediately becomes so meditative. So whenever you find someone is able to make a particular thing very easy, effortless, it means a lot of effort has gone behind it. That is samacharanam. They have practiced the sadhana of samacharanam in that area. So with this sadhana of samacharanam, actually you can master any skill, any art. It's very simple. Just these 3 steps. Number 1, performance. Performance means you are ready to act. You can't be lazy. Number 2, proper conduct. Do the right things there. And number 3, practice. It is practice alone which will help you master anything in life. If you practice these 3 steps, and with regards to any worldly art, within a period of time, you will be able to master that particular art or skill. Similarly, when it comes to the spiritual growth, when it comes to the mastery over your own mind, again it is samacharanam. Performing first. Performance means application. Number 2, proper conduct. That's why I told you, it's not how you're conducting yourself when you're in public that matters. Because you can wear all the masks and keep impressing everyone. But what are you truly from within? You have to ask yourself. You have to be brutally honest with yourself if you want to grow spiritually. And then the third thing, practice. At every opportunity, practice this wisdom. Do your sadhana on a daily basis, and then let your focus be on self-purification, which is proper conduct, and keep on practicing at every given opportunity. And life gives you enough opportunities to practice this wisdom. You're not showing the intention. So if you follow this formula, this 3-step formula, which together is called samachara. He's just putting it very easily. Mukta sangha samachara. He says. He's saying it so casually. That's what. He's making it look so simple, effortless. But if you go deep into it, there is so much to it, and it has the potential to transform you, and it has the potential to transform your life completely. So whenever, many people, when some sadhaks sometimes send me, they may, sir, I try to think about God. It is very difficult. How to be connected with God 24 hours. I'm finding it so difficult. Great yogis have made it a full-time practice for years. And, compared to that, what is the amount of your practice to say it is difficult? You can't become a yogi overnight like that. It is a gradual process of transformation. Later on, we'll be seeing that also. An essential aspect of Karma Yoga he'll be giving is don't be attached to the fruits. Fix a goal, have a result in mind, otherwise you'll have no direction. But don't become result oriented, he'll say. Means don't become too anxious about the fruits. In a relaxed way, practice this. That is what is samacharanam. Acting dynamically, number one. Acting in a proper way, proper conduct, number two. And consistently acting. Consistency gives you that synergy in your actions, synergistic effect, a cumulative effect. So, Mukta Sangha Samacharaha. These two, if you join together, now just imagine the state of a yogi, how powerful he or she will be. That is what you will become if you just practice these 2-3 things. Okay, so we'll stop with that. In the next session, we will continue further. Today, I have given you more subtle tips, subtler dimensions of the same principles. So you can reflect on them, and of course, since they are available, you can see them any number of times you want. All these points. Keep on absorbing them. That's so important. And in the next session, we'll continue further, where the next few verses are going to give you different facets, different applications of this principle of yajna. It will be so fascinating and extremely useful also. Okay, so before we do the meditation today, I will take up one question. This question has been asked by Parul Goel. She has put it in the YouTube comment section. Respected Yogishri, nowadays there are a lot of videos and posts on Brahma Muhurta. You have put it as Muhurta, it is actually Muhurtam, Muhurta. Can you kindly guide us as to what is the significance of Brahma Muhurta? What is it, and is it really helpful if we do sadhana during that time? Thank you so much for always guiding us with lots of gratitude. So I'm taking up this question because it's not only for her, but this will be useful for all the sadhaks. See, Brahma Muhurta, first of all, you have to understand the concept of Muhurta. I'm not now going into the exact meaning of Muhurtam. Muhurtam means you can take it as an auspicious time, as of now. Auspicious means a time which is conducive for a particular activity. Because otherwise, if we get into it too much, we'll have to see what is a solar calendar, what is a lunar calendar, how the Muhurtam is calculated. All that, those details we will not get into. But I'll just take that principle from a sadhana point of view, because that is the context here. That's what will help you. So, see, whenever we do any activity, we always try to do it at a particular time, which is very favorable. Timeliness is very important. We see what are the external factors which can help us do that particular action better. It's not only with respect to time, with respect to place also. See, supposing, let's say we have a meditation session in a marketplace. We had the Om Saravana Bhavadhyana release recently. It was in the auditorium, closed auditorium with wonderful audio outputs. All that enhanced the action of, it enhanced the experience. Supposing the same release of Saravana Bhavadhyana, we had it in a marketplace. Lots of people running here and there with noise and all that. It's not a conducive place for that sadhana. So, whenever we do any action, we also see how to make things as conducive as possible to increase the productivity of that action or of that experience, to increase the intensity of that experience. So, in that context, what our masters have said is that there is a time called Brahma Muhurta, which is around from 3:30 in the morning, 3:30 a.m. to up to, we can say, 6:30. It's a calculation which needs to be made according to the lunar calendar around roughly 1.5 hours before sunrise and all that. Now, we need not go into such specifics, but basically, let's say between 4 to 6 or 3:30 to 5:30. Some people say 3:30 to 5:30. We'll stretch it, we'll keep it 3:30 to 6:30 so that we'll fit in all the different ways of calculating and everything. Now, that period, they called it Brahma Muhurtam because they found that the mind is naturally meditative at that time. Of course, there are a lot of people who have gotten into the scientific part and they say more oxygen is taken in, ozone layer is this. We are not getting into all that. We are looking at it purely from the sadhana point of view, spiritual point of view. So, during Brahma Muhurtam time, the mind is naturally more contemplative, more meditative. It is called Sattvic time. Sattvic time means the time which is conducive for promotion of sattva within you. See, the day has also been divided into 3 parts. One is the Sattvic time, other is the Rajasic time, and the third is Tamasic time. So, they found that early morning time is definitely a Sattvic time. Similarly, evening time also. Sandhya, when there is early morning is between the just before the sunrise, then you have the evening where the afternoon and night meet. That is also a Sandhya meeting. Then even the afternoon at 12 o'clock, it's a meeting of forenoon and afternoon. So they say that is conducive. So they found that there are different times which are very conducive because the mind is naturally meditative during those times. Especially that morning time was called Brahma Muhurta because whatever be your base level of meditativeness, that manifests fully. But this is applicable only if you have had enough sleep before that. Supposing you slept only at 2 o'clock and you get up at 4 o'clock and you sit for meditation. Even though it is Brahma Muhurta, the system is not ready for that. So, just because a person wakes up at 4 o'clock doesn't necessarily mean he'll now become sattvic. It's not that way. It all depends on how effectively you use it. It is conducive for promotion of the higher tendencies, the sattvic tendencies within you. It is conducive. by itself it will not make you sattvic. It is what you do that matters. So conducive means what? Like let's say you do the same sadhana later at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. It's not that it will not have effect. But when you do that sadhana during Brahma Muhurta, it will be more easy. The effect will be more enhanced. This is what our masters had discovered. So they suggested that some deep sadhanas is very easy to do, easy to master when you, especially in the initial stages, when you do them during the Brahma Muhurta time. Very, very conducive. Night time is conducive for tamasic activities. That's why you find gambling centers, bars, all these are open in the night time more. They will never be active during the Brahma Muhurta time. If you think about it. Even, I've seen this, even a person who is addicted to alcohol, early morning 4 o'clock if you give him, he'll say not now, later. Naturally, see, whatever little meditativeness you have manifests. But again, there is a condition there, provided you have had enough sleep and all that and you have developed that habit. See, till now if you have never woken up early and suddenly you try tomorrow, you will feel sleepy only during that 4 a.m. during Brahma Muhurta. So immediately you should not conclude and say, oh, Brahma Muhurta is not working for me. It's because of the past opposite habit. So you give yourself a time and slowly you can try to build it up. Even if 4 o'clock, 3:30 and all is not possible, as early as possible, closer to 6 if you go, early, getting up early, you will find a lot of difference once you develop that habit. It takes a few months to start enjoying that. But once you start enjoying it, the amount of happiness and pleasure that gives is an amazing experience. You will not want to trade it for anything else. So this is what is Brahma Muhurta. By itself, it does not cause any spiritual development. Let me make it very clear. But it is a conducive time for you to do sadhana. If you do sadhana at other times also, there will be effect. Here, the effect will be faster. You don't need to struggle so much. It's like going down the inclined plane. This is on one hand. One more thing is also there. As you advance in the path, in the spiritual path, there is nothing like Brahma Muhurta externally for you. For a yogi, every second is Brahma Muhurta. He has got the capacity to change the energy pattern very fast, wherever he is, at whatever time. Anytime he wants to sit and meditate, he just wants to meditate, he can just close his eyes and he will convert the entire energy pattern into Brahma Muhurta time. But in the initial stages, these things will be very, very useful. So this is what is a time. If you do the sadhana during that time, it will be conducive for you. But give yourself, because if you want to get up early, you will have to sleep early. You have to eat early for that, so that you get a good sleep. So many things, all these things will have to go together. So if you practice it properly, you will find good results. And supposing you're unable to do it on a daily basis, that's okay. You choose a comfortable time and keep doing the sadhana. No need to skip the sadhana. See, we are only talking of various ways by which we can maximize the effect. That's all. Many people said during the empowerment courses, the 22 days, the Yoga Sankirtan empowerment, I have it from 5 to 7. Lot of people do it at that time. And they said that had a very, very wonderful effect. Yes, it will. So you can experiment with it, and to change your past habits and all that will take time. It cannot be an overnight change like that, but gradually you can try to wake up as early as possible, and bring that enjoyment factor in that. That is very important. So it was called Brahma Muhurta because time is very conducive for you to meditate and become one with Brahman. Brahman means the infinite. So it is a very conducive time to get connected to the infinite. But as I told you, as you advance, whenever you connect to the infinite, that is your Brahma Muhurta. Simple. That is how a yogi functions. Sometimes you may find a yogi may be meditating in the night also. Anytime. For a yogi, there is nothing like this time is sacred and this time is not sacred and all that. But as in the initial stages, this will definitely it will bring about a discipline, and of course there are a lot of other health benefits and all that also associated with that. That information and all you can easily get. Okay, so now we'll do Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. I am not this body. I am not these emotions and thoughts. I am that infinite, supreme self. My goal is to become free, mukta sangaha. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So in today's session, many subtle points, the subtler aspects of sadhana, subtler aspects of all these principles have been given. So you need to put some effort from your side to grasp them and absorb that energy. And as we go deeper and deeper, the next verse, it will be a wonderful application of yajna. Subsequent verse, further development. He's going to gradually build it, and he'll be covering this principle of yajna in great detail. Great detail not from a ritualistic sense, but from the standpoint of sadhana. That is the key. Okay. So I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.